First question is from Kath NCC. How do you determine that you've spent enough time building muscle and will have something to reveal once you go into a deficit? Do you base it on time spent building or weight gain or something else?
Yeah, something else. I would base this off of where your maintenance calories are. One of the best ways to determine if you can go into a cut is if you have room to go into a cut, because your maintenance calories are high enough to allow you to cut your calories and end up in a place that's sustainable. So regardless how much muscle you think you have or don't have, if your maintenance is, let's say, 1,800 calories and you're going to cut down to 1,200 calories to get yourself lean, that's an unsustainable place for most people. So I would use, almost always my maintenance calories that'll determine that when it comes to clients.
Well, the reason why that's such a good way to, Sal, to do this, and I agree with you, is that if you have increased your caloric intake, say by 500 calories a day to 1,000 calories more a day, you built muscle.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Like if you are adding 500 to 1,000 calories a day and you're not putting body fat on, that's going to work. It went to work. It went to build, and you got stronger. Like, so that's a good sign that, hey, I've added some muscle and it's a good amount that I'm actually eating this many calories and I have room to cut. Now let's reveal the hard work that I've done. Now I'm going to go into a cut. But there is obviously, there's always going to be the individual variance of what that looks like, because it's going to be a spectrum, right? That might be somebody building up to, 500 more calories a day. It could be somebody building up to 2,000 more calories a day. And it could be even smaller than that. And also keep in mind this, you have muscle under there no matter what. Even if you were like your body carries around, and if you get lean enough, you will reveal that muscle.
Yeah, but don't determine it though based off how much muscle you think you have. It's like, look at your calories and then go from a cut from there, and then ask yourself, is that maintainable? So okay, I'm at 2,500 calories. That's my maintenance. If I go down to 2,000 or 1,800 calories, is that something I can maintain? Is that sustainable? If the answer is yes, and you're being honest with yourself, then I would say go into the cut. If the answer is no, that's kind of low. That's really hard to maintain. And you play this game with yourself. Well, I'll bump them up afterwards or whatever. You should probably wait. That's the most important factor to consider. All the other stuff doesn't make isn't nearly as important as what I just said.
Well, don't you? I guess from hearing you guys kind of describe this a lot to people in terms of like kind of pressing that amount of calories a bit more in terms of like where it's almost uncomfortable to that level, so that way you do have that room. You do have that, so you can cut back down, and it's like, oh well, this is easy to maintain, and it's going to keep me pretty lean and sustainable at this point.
That's the basic generic advice that I used to use for my clients, was just, let's get to a place where you get to say to me,
where you're happy to cut food out.
Yeah, and that's why too I say there's such a large individual variance here, because that could be for someone 3,000 calories. 3,000 calories might seem like, oh my God, that's so much.
You're just like pushing it every day.
Yeah, other people it might take 4,500 to 5,000 to be there. So there's going to be a range, but where I want to get you is that it's becoming almost a chore to get enough calories, and Sal always says this really well in the context of modern life. Right. Obviously, that would not be advantageous, because Mark Sisson is someone who actually argues the opposite point.
Eating less is better.
Yes, he's such a pro. Eat low, and
longevity wise,
and longevity.
And
he's right. He is right. Yeah. But why I like the way Sal positions it, he's like, in the context of the modern world, that's just so, like, most people don't have his discipline to eat that 1,500 calories.
So buffer yourself with a fast metabolism.
So how about we build a bunch of muscle that gives you that metabolic flexibility, and then if you want to try and eat lower calories, sustainable. But at least now, if you don't and you mess up or decide to go out and have a couple glasses of wine or have some dessert, it doesn't feel like it sticks right to you and goes to body fat. It actually gets metabolized and used because you've built this roaring metabolism.
And you negate, not all, but a lot of the negative effects that come from eating quote unquote unhealthy food when you're burning more than you're eating. And so it just buffers you better. So when you talk about the average person, then it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I mean, obviously if you could go the rest of your life really disciplined and eat low calories forever and you're fine or whatever, that's fine. But I don't know very many people that can do that.
Right.